You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Thank you for joining me here today on this Mindset and Motivation Monday. And hopefully I have the pleasure of being one of the first people to wish you a happy new year. So happy to have you on today's show. Can't wait to get started. And really fortunate to have a Motivation and Mindset Monday kick us off for the new year here today. So excited to get started. Without further ado, let's begin the show. What I wanted to do today was actually a hybrid show. I want to share with you a few things that I'm doing right now to get 2018 started off right. A couple things hopefully you can take as takeaways, and then what I'd like to do is wrap it together with the big five of showing you how you can have your best year yet. But honestly, above all else, what I want to do is just make sure that you get started. That really is the crux of today's show. I believe that deep down, all of us have inside of us a deep desire to be more than we currently are right now. As I've said before, I believe that happiness, I really do. I believe that happiness has to do a lot with where we feel we are at in life. Do we feel like we're growing? Not if we're at maybe, where our friends are at, family, siblings, any of those things. It's really, are we okay with where we're at? Are we living to our best potential? And one of the great things I think about potential is this. Potential is one of those sneaky things. It means that it honestly starts to develop as we begin to develop. 10 years ago, 20 years ago, did I think I'd be doing any of the things I am today? No. And I hope that in 5 years from now and in 10 years from now, I look back and I say, wow, I was only reaching the tip of my potential. And that's what I want for everyone listening to today's show. That's what I want for you. So what I want for you is to start to begin to think that you can achieve more in your life, that you are meant to have more, and that the only way to do that is to start to look at all of the things that you want for yourself in your life, write them down on a piece of paper. What is it? What do you want for yourself in terms of your body? What about in terms of your career? How about your relationships? What about your overall health and wellness? All of those things, start to write them down. Now, once you have them written down, what I want you to do is start to pick off one at a time. That's where I think a lot of us go wrong. So some of us will begin to set goals, or they'll begin to use the law of attraction. They'll say, okay, I want this, this, and this, and this, this, and this. And I think that all of that's fantastic. It really is. But what happens is, if you don't stay focused, you won't achieve any of them. So if that's the one big takeaway I can give you today, it's to stay focused on one or two big specific goals while keeping the other ones written down, while understanding that oftentimes there's a domino effect. I always ask people when they first come to see me, if I can help you achieve one or two things, what would it be? Yes, we'll get to all the others. We'll talk about all the others. But what if I could only help you achieve one or two things? What if those one or two things actually ended up helping you achieve many of the other things on your list? What would they be? Write them down. So you've heard me talk about this before, and that's why I'm only going to do a very brief overview. But I also want to give you a new PDF sheet that we created for you. So really, as always, just go to today's show notes. Go to stephencabral.com/696, I believe today's show is. If not, just go to stephencabral.com/podcast, and you'll always see all of the previous podcasts there for you to listen to. So what I've given you before is the way to achieve your goals. Is something called the SMART goal setting, okay? Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, timely goals. And all that really means is this, is picking a goal, and now we're going to take it down from its essence, this big thing, which I'm going to give you real world examples of today, and then being able to what we call batch things and chunk things down to make it more realistic. Well, what would that mean? Real quick examples, okay, because I want to move on from this today. In the past, I've talked about this specifically. I've talked about if you want to lose weight, what do you need to do? Well, you need to pick a goal and something that you can achieve, I always like to say, over the next 12 weeks. You know, if you've tuned back in, hopefully you have, to previous Mindset and Motivation Mondays, you've looked at the one big way to set up your goals. A couple Mondays ago, I talked about the two things that I use, the 12-week year and the perfect day formula. Check out that podcast if you haven't. But what I say is this. Okay, someone comes in with a goal of wanting to lose 36 pounds. I say, okay, great. That is a goal that's been achieved by someone else. That means you can achieve it too. If you are willing to set measurable goals, I know you can do this. How do I know you're going to achieve this over the next 12 weeks? Can it be done? Of course it can be done. It's 3 pounds per week. How do I know if you're achieving your goal? You're going to do a weigh-in. You're going to do a weigh-in twice a week. Why not once a week? Because I've shared with you before, once a week lets too much time elapse between weigh-ins. You're going to do a Monday and Friday weigh-in. By each Friday, I want to make sure that you've lost 3 pounds from the Friday before. And the reason why I'm having you do a Monday weigh-in is because we know, a lot of us at least, myself included, that those cheat meals over the weekend can throw us off. So if we do a Monday and Friday weigh-in, we can see if you're maintaining your weight loss through to that Monday and then making new weight loss over that next Monday to Friday. Okay, so if you lose 3 pounds a week over the next 12 weeks, you've achieved your goals of 36 pounds of weight loss. What will you do now is the question in order to lose that weight. Of course, I want you to be following a plan that includes exercise, nutrition, supplementation, all of the things that go along with it, all of those great things. Okay, so that's a weight loss example. Well, what about wellness? Well, here's the deal. If you're using the 12-week plan that I recommend, you're going to say, what can I do over the next 12 weeks to get healthier than I ever have been in my entire life? Well, you're going to choose then the plan, find the coach, find the personal trainer, the mentor, any of those people to guide you over 12 weeks and make sure that you are checking in on a weekly basis or ideally twice a week basis. Here's something that I just might recommend. You're going to complete a 21-day Dr. Ball detox. That's going to kick you off right. And then maybe you'll do an intestinal cleanse, okay? That's going to set you up. Then you'll do the Candida and bacterial overgrowth formula, clean up your gut, reseal that gut afterwards by doing something like the gut rebuilding protocol. And then after that 12 weeks is over, well, then you're going to start to maintain your results with something like the Dr. Ball daily protocol. All very simple to do, all very realistic. And I'm telling you, you can handle this. You really can. Start with something like the 21-day detox. Okay, that's 21 days done. Then follow it up by an intestinal cleanse if you choose to. That's 1 month done. Now you're moving into month 2. You can do the Candida and bacterial overgrowth protocol. That's going to take you through the 12 weeks. Your next 12 weeks, you'll be getting into the gut rebuilding protocol and then follow up, of course, with the Dr. Ball daily protocol. That's one option. But if you don't do that option, that's okay too. I'm giving you an example. You can choose someone else's protocol, someone else's program that you would like that's going to get you those guaranteed results as well. All right, what about career? A lot of people write in saying like, okay, what can I do with my career? Great, I want to lose the weight, I want to get well, I want to live longer. Okay, but I also want fulfillment out of my work. What can I do? Okay, here's what you do. You can decide to take it nice and slow and easy over this next 12 weeks. Sorry, if you choose to. Now, don't let it go a full 12 months, all right? Choose over this first 12 weeks to look at the certifications, the job, anything that you want to step into. Now, you want to make this a really serious decision. You want this to be part of your new career path, your new trajectory. You have time. Over the next month, research the top certifications. Put in about 1 hour per day. Every day looking at new certifications that you get in, again, your field might be finance, it might be accounting, it might be any one of those things. Or if it's health, maybe you're looking to get into nutrition, in personal training, in health coaching, in life coaching. Any one of those things are all great. Start to look at your options. Go on forums, ask other people. Any of those things is absolutely fantastic. Then in month 2, you're going to start to get deeper into what you might do. Start to read the books that those certifications recommend. See if it's something that actually interests you before you devote 6 months or a year of your time to those certifications of getting into it. Start to get deeper into what you just learned about. And then month 3, make the decision. Purchase the certification to get into. Purchase the health coaching. Get into the next degree of what you need to study. And then also schedule that exam. Maybe it's 6 months out, but start to schedule it and then mark off your calendar. Every day you're going to schedule maybe 1 hour or 2 hours into your day to your continuing education. Make it happen. I'm telling you, you can make it happen. But here's what you also need to do in order to make it happen. You need to set progress report check-ins with a friend, a spouse, a family member, with yourself, but make it happen every Monday and Friday. Those are your progress reports. Make sure you're putting in the work, that you're doing the work, because here's what I don't want. I don't want you to regret looking back 12 weeks from now that you didn't do what you said you were going to. That's the important part. Let me give you one more thing that I'm doing right now. So in addition to this SMART goal setting we call, right? I didn't come up with this, but I call it the best goal achieving method out there, and why I call it goal achieving, even though it's a goal setting program, is that you don't get to achieve your goals until you set them first. And you need real deadlines. You need to set goals. You need to set timelines for when you're going to achieve those goals, because a lot of us, we've had goals now for years and we've never achieved them. So why is it that we'd be able to achieve them in the next 12 weeks? Well, we set a goal, we set a deadline. Now it's not out there in the ether. It's not out there in the world. We actually put it pen to paper. We said, okay, by March 31st, I'm going to achieve this goal. That's it. March 31st, I'm going to lose the 36 pounds. I'm going to find the certification that I'm going to get into. I'm going to get myself well by following this protocol. Any one of those things, that's what you're going to do. Now, I want to take it one step further. This is something that I've been doing over the past year. I want to share it with you now. And it's something that actually I've sat down over this past week. I've been spending this past week in Maine, really secluded, away from the rest of the world, away from my team, away from wellness clients, private clients, everyone. And I spent it up here because it is secluded. I want some quiet time to spend with my family. I want a couple hours every morning before they get up to work on my own work, to work on my 2018. And so what I did was I pulled out the big 12-month planner. I talked about that on a previous Mindset and Motivation Monday. Check that show out. The 2 books are the 2 things that I recommend. And I pulled out this paper planner, and literally I go through the whole year and I mark off all my speaking engagements when I'm going to be away from my family. So if I'm going to be away from my family, then I try to counteract that then with spending more time with them before or after that. I always make sure that I'm trying to balance my family and I'm balancing my work, because I want to make sure that I make time for both. They're both obviously things that I need very deeply in my life. And over this time that I've had in Maine in the seclusion, I'm also writing down what I want to achieve in 2018. Now, sometimes I've made it too rigid and I've also kind of created too much to do for myself. I'm not going to do that this year. I'm going to focus on what matters. And what matters to me is really providing more content and teaching. So yes, I'm going to be speaking more. I'm going to be doing my first live event, so I get to meet hopefully some of you. I would love to do that. I really would. I used to do live events in the past, and it's been a couple of years now from when I opened my wellness center. I really had to step back. I had to, take the time to develop that wellness center. But now I get to step back. I get to actually do some of the things that I enjoyed doing a few years back, and that honestly, it is getting to meet some of you. So stay tuned for that. Can't wait to tell you about those dates and about other speaking engagements that I'll be doing. So one thing I'm doing is, as to not get overwhelmed, is I'm creating one goal a month. Now, it falls within my 12-month goal setting calendar and also my 12-week year where I try to accomplish a big thing within 12 weeks. But what I'm doing is I'm also setting one goal per month, not 15 goals per month, but one goal per month. And I'm trying to set it within my disciplines that need to be brought up a little bit more. So I'll just tell you one thing that I need to get back into over Thanksgiving in December. They were probably my lowest amount of actual working out, meaning that I was getting the bare minimum in. It was fine. I was still getting my 10,000 steps, still getting my body weight workouts every day, just my regular body weight and a couple workouts per week, but not my best. Okay, so enough to keep me healthy, enough to keep me fit, but not what I was looking for. So I know now that by May I have a goal. So it's not my first 12 weeks, but remember, sometimes you have a longer goal. So this summer, I want to be doing more sprint triathlons. So in order to get me there, I need to get my swimming up, my running up, and then also my biking up, okay? I'll still do my weight training, but I want to get those categories up. So over January, my goal now is to get back into the gym and do some formal training with running, with biking, and with swimming. My swimming won't start till March, but the other thing is going to start up in January, February. I'm going to tell you why it won't start till March in just a moment. Hopefully you'll start to see how my brain works with all of these things. But for you, I was thinking, if you haven't even been to the gym for a couple months or really gotten into your workouts, a big win would just be getting to the gym. Don't even worry about what you do, but do it 3 times a week. Get to the gym 3 times a week. That would be a big win. So maybe your one goal a month, simply to get to the gym 12 times, okay? 3 times per week. You can do that. So for me, it's to get in sprint triathlon shape and to be competitive, not to win. I'm a pretty competitive person. I don't know if you could tell that about me, but if I was training for sprint triathlons and I had the goals, okay, I want to place top 3, that would be a different type of training. I don't want to go there. That's not a good mindset for me. That would overwhelm me and it would make training too big a part of my life. I don't want it to be that big a part of my life. I just want to enjoy doing the sprint triathlons because I really do. I enjoy the gear. I enjoy just a little bit of competitiveness just with myself, with doing well, with competing and being able to enjoy actually 3 different sports, the biking, the running, and the swimming, and just the cross training, because I also do weight training on top of that. And then in the summer, I'll do a little bit of rock climbing, which I like. So indoor rock climbing. And so hopefully that starts to get you kind of into that mindset of where I'm at, is just preparing myself now to be able to make that the second 12-week year in my calendar. So a second thing for me is my wellness is right where it should be, right where I want it to be. I've got great energy. I feel like I'm at a good weight. I really enjoy where I'm at. However, during the January, February, March, my body still produces more mucus, more of the post-nasal stuff than I want. So I've got a lot of things that I have to compete against. I have to compete against past surgeries that I've had for ear-based surgeries, ear, nose, and throat-based surgeries, where they removed adenoids multiple times. They fused certain bones in my nose. They stripped my mucous membranes. They took out my tonsils. Not good things. And that forces me, unfortunately, to produce maybe a little bit more mucus than I'd like to. And I also work in Boston, where we have this dry heat pumping all year round. I should say, at least during the winter. So my office has this radiator heat that's so dry. So what I'm going to try to do to combat my body from overproducing mucus because of all this dryness and the heat in the environment is to put a humidifier in my office. I'm going to start to use a little bit more essential oils. I'm going to use more spices in my diet to try to dry up this dampness. So in Ayurveda and in traditional Chinese medicine, we call it dampness in the body, this kapha in the body. And I want to keep trying to dry that up through some Ayurvedic-based herbals, some TCM-based herbals. So I'm going to keep working on that. But overall, life is good in that category, but I want to make sure that I keep continuing to make sure that I'm absolutely optimal and doing my best. So that's what I'm working at this winter. And then career-wise for myself, I want to make sure that I am now pushing myself to the limit. So I like what's going on with the podcasting. I want to continue to do that, but I want to challenge myself with something new. That's where I feel a lot of my growth comes from. So my growth, I hope in 2018, will actually come from doing some teaching videos. So I want to get more to doing video-based work, which I used to do quite a bit of in the past. And I want to provide content that I believe the viewers and that you would want. And so I'm really going to look to you for the type of content that you would like. What I'm going to try to do is actually teach things from a very specific, what I consider my medical-based philosophy. And that's using state-of-the-art functional medicine and blending that with the best of Eastern-based philosophies. And those philosophies, of course, include Ayurvedic medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, but I'm going to give you some other ancient-based formulas as well that I want to share with you of how to really clear up a lot of these autoimmune-based issues, these skin-based issues, and really get you feeling your best yet for 2018. So that's how I'm going to push myself. And one thing I just want to share on that front as well is this is new for me. So how I have to go through the process over these next 12 weeks is that I want to get these videos out to you as fast as possible. But since this is new to me, I need to actually hire a team with this too. I need to shoot the video. So what I'm going to do is hire a couple local videographers, and I'm going to actually look to see their work, meaning that I've never done it with them before. So what I'm going to do is probably choose 2 or 3 videographers, look at their work that they do. So I'm going to have them produce like 2 or 3 videos for me, see the timeline that they do it on, how professional they are, what their follow-up's like, and if I can count on them then for all of 2018. And again, I teach this to a lot of health practitioners running their own business. The reason is I want them to succeed, and succeeding is not easy without a plan. Just like anything, it's not easy to lose weight without a plan. It's not easy to get well without a plan. None of it's easy, right? You need a plan. Same with spirituality. Same with all of these things. You need a plan. So here's the thing. That's what I'll be doing. And what I want to just share with you, the last thing, and the reason why I brought that up to you, is that understand that I'm going to be putting out videos just like when I did my first podcast. And I can almost guarantee you the first 10, the first 20, maybe even more, are not going to be great. They're not. I mean, they probably won't be bad. Just like your best effort is not going to be bad, but it's not going to be great. I understand that. And I'm now willing to accept that. In the beginning, I wasn't. So, if you want to laugh at my first half dozen, 2 dozen videos, I'm okay with that. I really am. Because what I want people to know is that you just have to put your best work out there. And you have to understand that in order to really get great at something, it's okay to be really bad at in the beginning. And I know that my first few podcasts, more than just a few, were not great. I didn't have my voice. I didn't have my flow. I didn't have the feel of how I wanted to speak to you. I don't try to be like anybody else, but I try to be like me. And I didn't even know who I was trying to be until I was able to really get that authentic voice out there. The same is going to be with video. And I'll tell you, my videos in a year from now will probably be different. But that's okay. Because in order for me to get to what they're going to be 1 year from now, I have to go through the beginning process. And if I keep my intentions pure, if my intentions is to help people, if my intentions are to be able to provide you with the best content that I know how right now in the beginning of 2017, well, that's what I'm going to do. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to do your best to help serve others, to do your best to teach others. And in the beginning, you need to get good at it yourself. So whether it is losing the weight, do that for yourself. I'm telling you, lose the weight for yourself, get well for yourself, get into the career that you want for yourself, or begin to get into the hobby, the moonlighting of a second career that you would like. I tell people that all the time. You don't have to just up and just switch right away. That might be too stressful. Start to get into something that you do enjoy, that's going to make 2018 a year of energy and vitality for you. Start to rebuild the relationships. The person you're with right now might not feel like things are going their best. That doesn't mean they're not the right person for you. It just means that you need to revitalize that relationship. That's what it is. And all of these things take effort, and they always will take effort, because that's part of life. And really, anything worth having, anything that's truly great in life, you need to put in the effort. A lot of people talk about, I'm just going to do this passively. I'm going to just do this passively. No, there's nothing passive in life. If you put in a passive effort, you will get passive results. I want you to get great results in each area of your life. Pick the areas that you want in your life right now, that you want to see the best results. Maybe that where you're lacking, that's where you need to work on right now. Or maybe it's what you want that's going to lead to your best growth, right? So if you're looking to grow your career, get into that right now with the first 12 weeks. Write down those goals. If you're looking to change your health, write down what you want to fix and then begin working on those things. A little bit of research, a little bit of effort goes a long way. So today is our first day to get started. I really believe that. Don't wait until tomorrow. You don't need to put in a day's worth of work, but just sit down with your journal. I'll tell you right now, put pen to paper. Write down all of the things that you want to achieve in 2018. Then take your one or two most important things and start to create a map for how you're going to achieve those over the next 12 weeks. Put a deadline on it. March 31st will be your goal. And then find someone to keep you accountable. Do that Monday and Friday check-in. If you do that, I'm telling you right now, you're going to have your best 2018 ever. I can't wait to help support you. Let me know how I can do that. Check in at cabralsupportgroup.com. It's a free Facebook group for like-minded people, positive people who want to support others. I'll check in with you there. I hope you have a fantastic start to your year. Talk with you soon. I want to sincerely thank you for your support of this podcast. I couldn't do it without you, and I mean that. I truly do. I also want to make sure you knew that we now have multiple ways for you to find your answers to the most difficult health, wellness, weight loss, and anti-aging questions. You can find podcast-specific topics like thyroid, adrenal, hormones, sleep, digestion, Ayurveda, and many more at stephencabral.com/podcasts that will then link you to your favorite Apple, Spotify, and other podcast players. Plus, all new podcasts and weekly exclusive video content is being added to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Stephen Cabral. And that's Stephen with a PH. Head on over and subscribe so that you don't miss any of the exclusive content. Lastly, if you've ever found any of my podcasts or books to be helpful, I would really appreciate it if you could leave a review on iTunes or your favorite media player for the podcast. Rating and subscribing to the YouTube and podcast allow me to reach more and more people and help spread my mission of healing throughout the world. Thank you again for being a part of this movement.